Ottilissa inhaled sharply and reread the sentence. But such is not the case. These star maps were not created by the others, but by owls. There is in fact a sixth kingdom of owls. It is called the Middle Kingdom, and I believe it is within wing reach. The parchment trembled as Ottilissa read. She could not keep her talons still. "This is absolutely incredible," she whispered to herself. "Another kingdom of owls? But where? How?" For centuries, millennia, it was thought there were only 5 owl kingdoms. 6? Since when? Why had no one heard of it before now? And it was within wing reach? One could fly there. How could that be? The elsewhere was across the vastest of oceans. She read on. About a year ago, I discovered a deep recess in the library here that I had not even known existed. It had been concealed purposely behind a false wall, it turned out, constructed with some sort of clay and wattle, at the back of an almost empty section of the library. The wall looked more like an ill-made bird's nest, a seagull type of construction, or perhaps even a pack rat's cache. It wasn't. Do you remember the slight earthquake we had many moon cycles ago? Well, apparently, it loosened the wattle and stones, for it was after the quake that I discovered the recess, and in it, what appeared to be fragments of parchment and scraped skins, perhaps mole or even lemming, the kind of coverings that the ancient owls often used to protect writings. They were not books such as the others had left here in this library. These were fragments of writings, badly damaged and barely decipherable, but nonetheless I could tell immediately that they were not the writings of the others. It was not handwriting, but bore the distinct marks of a talon, perhaps more than one talon. I cannot even begin to describe to you the tumult in my gizzard. I suspect you might be feeling something of this now as you read this letter. "To put it mildly," Ottilissa muttered to herself. I am not sure how these fragments got here. From studying the talon writing, I sense there was more than one writer, but not many. Perhaps there were travelling scholars in those days who flew here from this distant kingdom to exchange information. But with whom? I know you must wonder why I have waited so long to write you about this discovery. First, I was not exactly sure what I had discovered. I kept hoping that I might find more. I found very little. And then, quite honestly, I was not sure what the existence of another kingdom, the 6th kingdom, would mean for our world. We have, after all, just come through a bad time, the Guardians in particular, with that dark period of the Golden Tree, the terrible arrests, and then the battle in the beyond with Naira. We all hope she is gone, but do we know with any real certainty? What would she make of the news of yet another kingdom? I felt that it was best to wait, but I've waited long enough. Ottilissa shook her head violently. It seemed suddenly that her brain was too small to accommodate this bizarre idea. A 6th kingdom? But she was compelled to read on. I feel that it is imperative that you and the band, and yes, possibly even the Chaw of Chaws, come immediately to the Palace of Mists. I do not want to elaborate any further about what I have learned is called the Middle Kingdom. Because of the uncertainty surrounding Naira and the condition of her troops, I feel that news of this kingdom must be kept absolutely secret. The rest must know nothing until we decide what to do. Destroy this letter immediately upon reading it. Your dear friend, Bess. Ottilissa read the letter once more, committing it to memory, and then held it over the flame of the small fire in the grate of her hollow. She watched transfixed as the edges of the parchment singed a tawny amber, then began to curl. There was a crackling, followed by a small burst of devouring flames. The parchment blackened, and then there were only ashes.